Welcome back, everybody, to Insanity Check Radio. Skillet Sauce Kim and Aiden is on the boards. If you actually dig these stories and want to check them out at length, you can check the links at our Twitter page, at Twitter feed, which is at Insanity Check 12. You can join our Google Plus circles, which is Insanity Check Radio. You can check us out on the dreaded Facebook at Insanity Check. And you can see these actual videos and with more stuff and bells and whistles added in by this man here at our YouTube page, which is Insanity Check Radio.
People still patting you on the head for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, actually, people still tease me about that shit, man. Till this day, radio.
Oh, no, it's teasing.
Yeah, you know, I mean, they like it, man. I don't know. It's picking up steam, man. It's picking up steam.
So my date call out saying ain't picking up no steam?
No. But some people, I had a couple of people that they want to know who Amber is. They
course.
said she sounds like a 70s porn queen. But every time they say, where is she, they always got their hands deep in their pockets. So I don't know what the fuck is wrong with these dudes. So you done started something.
Nothing to do with me.
You done started something, poor girl.
Ramp up her social life.
Well, this, you know, I'm going to put up a lot more links because we can't possibly, that last segment ran long, we can't possibly get to all the different crazy things like the dude that, well, maybe we can't get to that idiot that did himself in because he couldn't date or whatever. But let's just start this off because this is something that I'm interested in and really like to discuss as well. So
amazingly, this has nothing to do with beheadings, cannibalism, or zombies.
No, it was a story that we wanted to broach a little bit earlier, but we're getting around to it.
This actually, Skillet had this for a while, apparently. I was just informed of. But a friend of mine just posted this on Facebook. And I thought it was very, very interesting. It's an article called Confronting the Legacies of Slavery. Apparently, when was this written? Well, this was published, this was published yesterday.
Yeah. There
was a ceremony in Barbados recently that for the answer. Well, it was our slavery. They put up a school where called the University of the West Indies, which was a former site of a slave plantation in Barbados, and they had a whole ceremony and everything. But today, as a university was once a plantation, what is now a nation was once a colony. In Barbados and throughout the Caribbean, slavery remains a vivid and potent metaphor and cultivated memory. And now they're forming a group called Caribbean Community for Britain's 50 members. And basically, they're trying to get reparations for slavery and the slave atrocities that befell the West Indies. Certainly that sounds familiar because the American blacks have been calling for reparations for years. And
the whole 40 acres and a mule thing.
And basically, they get laughed at. They get, but you're doing so well. They get,
exactly.
Slavery's over.
Yeah, what do you worry about? They point to LeBron James and Michael Jordan and somebody. Look at those guys.
Well,
look at the president now.
First it was Oprah and Bill Cosby.
Yeah, then obviously, but look at the president.
4 big blacks. I mean, what the fuck else do you want? It can be done. You just have to work hard.
Yeah.
Apparently, the West Indians don't believe that, and they're the king of working hard. The West Indians. So basically, it's just talking about the problems. Of course, the one of the issues, of course, is how much. How do you put a price tag on
the pain and suffering
but more importantly, lower down in the article, they talk about again, and this is again incredibly evident in America, the super outlying effects of slavery. Both the negative to the people who were enslaved, which again, white people have a problem comprehending how 200-300 years later, black people can still be affected, by slavery. As one person, really put it, succinctly and eloquently, like, how exactly do you even winning a race? How do you tie a race? How do you compete in a race where your opponent has a 400-year head start on you? How?
Bloody violence and overthrow.
That's one way to do it.
That's probably the only. That's probably the only thing. You know, some severe revolution, physical revolution. That's about the only thing. You know, 'cause anything else, like you said, the situation is so stacked against you from years and years and years. There's not much you can possibly do to actually level a playing field in a race like that.
So I'm just going to read a little bit of this article. Calls for reparations have a long history. As early as the 1970s, one French anti-slavery activist argued that the enslaved could easily ask not just for freedom, but for repayment for generations of unpaid labor. But at the same time of emancipation, the British granted not the ex-slaves, but the former owners reparations in the form of large financial indemnities. So they didn't give the slaves, the slave descendants, payment for their slavery and their hardship and their tragic fucking history. They paid the slave owners, the descendants of their slaves, for not having slaves anymore. Because that's a tragedy too, isn't it? I don't know if you ever saw that. There was a Louis C.K. He was on Jay Leno. He did it. It was he was on the couch talking, and he did a really good piece. I had it up on my Facebook page about that very thing. I'll put the link on.
I think I may have seen it. Was Chris Rock there as well?
No.
Went all through. Oh no, then
no, it wasn't before. No, it was just Jay Leno and
Louis C.K.
Louis
Okay.
C.K.
Oh, okay.
Link should be right here. Anyway, so Haiti won its freedom in 1804, but in 1825 it agreed to pay an indemnity to France in return for diplomatic recognition. The money was used to compensate French plantation owners. Today, this all seems shocking. In 2001, France declared slavery a crime against humanity, and the U.S. Congress formally apologized in 2008 for the enslavement and racial segregation of African Americans. American universities have begun to apologize for their historical links to slavery. And thanks to films like 12 Years a Slave, which Burrell said was one of the most horrifying things he's ever fucking seen.
Oh, he didn't like it?
No. He's talking about he's like, they got real graphic on their slave beatings.
Oh, word? Oh,
yeah,
God.
He's like, you don't understand how much the skin parts when getting cracked down by a hard bullet.
No. Of course. You don't remember that thing when this guy in some prison, I don't know what it was, got caned on his ass? He got like, it was on YouTube, and they hit him like 5 lashes with like Singapore cane or whatever, and his whole shit, that just the whelps formed, the skin ripped, and he had like literally 5 big bloody whelps going across his fucking ass. You know, so I mean, you just look at the keloid photographs, of the slaves, backs back in the day. It was just horrible. You might want to read this the part where it says consider. Oh no, you go ahead, because the part about Haiti, I thought that was actually hysterical. The part about consider this. In 2003, Haiti's president Jean-Bertrand Aristide called on France to repay the 1825 indemnity, which he blamed for his country's poverty. The argument was historically sound. To pay France, Haiti had to borrow money from French banks, entering a century-long cycle of debt. So,
yeah, which of course, again, this is nothing new if you've read the book, The Economic Hitman.
What was it? Journal of Diary of Economic Hitman.
Yeah, Amazon, $12, whatever. In that, this gentleman who works for the U.S. government talks about this very thing. In a nutshell, what America, yay, greatest country in the world, America. What they would do is go to a third world country and like, hey, you want electricity, you want clean, fresh water, no problem. We'll give you $1 billion, and you just have to pay, let's say, 10%, and you guys will be up and running. Your economy will be fantastic. And everyone's like, yeah. Oh, only thing though, you can only use U.S. companies. So this would mean that, let's just say Obama, for instance, all his friends in the corporations, that $1 billion that the government gave to country X, country X gives it right back to his friends. And by the way, we messed up on our numbers. Yeah, it's not 10% interest you have to pay. It's now 35%. Oh, wait a minute. You can't afford that? No problem. Just let us build a fucking base in your country, and everything will be squared away. What? Your leader doesn't want to do that?
Oh,
no
here, take this wonderful MP3 player as a gift.
Yeah,
it's lovely, but don't worry about the ticking sound. Don't worry about it, you know.
Yeah. And here comes Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi, and all the other people who used to work for the American government before we felt the need to have to kill them because they're crazy brown madmen. History lesson. But the French Commission concluded that while there was a responsibility for on France's part, financial reparation was not the solution. The report suggested that French aid to Haiti was a kind of reparation and urged more of it. After the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, President Nicolas Sarkozy offered the aid and debt forgiveness package to the country, but the French government never officially apologized, let alone offered compensation.
Why should they? That's what they probably feel. Why should they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been fucking up Haiti for a long time, stigmatizing those things. I was talking to this Haitian dude, and he was like, "Yeah, this whole bogus stigma about the bum ass Haitians, carrying AIDS and all sorts of shit like that back in the late '70s, early '80s." Yet, when they talked about AIDS was in San Francisco prior to the this whole Haitian influx, and we're somehow a Haitian must have went over to San Francisco first. Of course, it was just the whole thing of just labeling these people to where just a name, and I remember going to high school back then, you're Haitian, automatically it was just a bunch of negative connotations that dealt with just, you're from Haiti, automatically negative stuff. You saw it on the television set all the time, the people coming over in rafts, they're bringing disease, they're bringing this. They did everything they could to basically label and demonize Haiti, and Haitians. It was pathetic. It was pathetic. And in hindsight, you're looking at it like, how controlled was that? Good article.
It's ridiculous. I can't quite find the part I'm looking for, but basically another interesting and important part, which I alluded to earlier, of this article and this topic is, again, how much the rest of the world benefited from slavery. If you just go to America, the South was filthy fucking rich because they were, they had all of this produce, this property, this everything that people wanted to buy, and they were spending nothing, next to nothing, just enough, chitlins and fucking pork ribs and hooves and snouts,
and
which
tails.
Had became a delicacy, for the Southerners now because that's all they were allowed to eat.
Yeah, the lower part of the pig.
Yeah.
That's why living high on the hog was coined, because those that were living low on the hog, the entrails, the guts, the giblets, and all that other stuff, were the slaves.
Yeah.
So
and if you want to go past slavery, just go to the purchase of Manhattan, for $11 a cup of box, a couple of noodle soups, and some fucking trinkets and shit, and now we're sitting on some of the most expensive fucking real estate in the world, which was bought for something that costs probably about like $2.33 today. So these folks, well, what did you want to do? You want to branch off on that with?
Well, no, because when I thought about this whole thing about reparations for slavery and the whole thing about perception of slavery, it brought me, it's going to be like a double segue to a situation that just happened, and we're talking about the perceptions of how these people demonize Haiti. A football-related thing. There was a wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys by the name of Dez Bryant, who engaging in a game, you see him on the sideline. He's very demonstrative, and he's yelling some stuff at his players. Now he's yelling some stuff. You can't read his lips. His teammates. He's yelling on the sidelines, right? And they're winning at this point in the game. Then at the end of the game, when they had one of their cliched collapses because this team for whatever reason can't finish a game, he's now on the sideline, doing the same thing. But now you can read his lips, and he's like, "I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this." Because basically they had the game won, and it took just a monumental collapse by the defense and everything else. And these guys had victory. How do they say it? Victory. Defeat.
Snatched out of the jaws of victory.
Snatched out of the jaws of victory. So he was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. So,
What was that?
Are you a Lions fan? Oh, okay. Yeah. So immediately the media picked up on his sideline, his
all they were fucking talking about.
Yeah. And they're like, this is bad. This is bad for the team. It doesn't look good. Some people's like, but he's showing passion as a competitor, so on and so forth. But, Terrell Owens, who was one of the most brutally honest people to a fault, came out and said, well, there's an issue when, and it brought the racial component up, and he actually didn't bring it up. Some others brought it up, and he sort of like just ran with it. You know, he mentioned that, you know, there's been instances where back in the days, like Brett Favre would always do the throat slash, right, which will result of nothing good. If you get your throat, you're going to get exsanguinated, your throat ripped up, you're going to bleed to death or be beheaded, whatever. It's nothing good. He was always deemed, oh, he's just such a fiery competitor. That was the phrase that they coined for this. He's just a fiery competitor. But then I remember Randy Moss having made the game-winning touchdown on the road at Lambeau Field with their number one, well, not with their number one, but one of their main division rivals in the playoffs to bring them to the championship game. He scored the touchdown. He simulated taking off, like pulling his pants down and doing a booty dance with the goalpost.
All his clothes on, mind you.
All his clothes on. He just like you know, air danced. You know, he just like whoops, like my clothes, like I'm gonna take my shirt, but I'm not really taking it off. That's what he did, and did like the disco dance with the goalpost. He became the worst human being that this planet has ever seen.
Bitch ass Joe Buck, to quote, who was calling that game, was like, what a classless. That's one of the most classless things I've ever seen.
He became classless, whereas another guy can simulate killing somebody ear to ear. He's just fiery. So moving into today's NFL, you have Michael Vick still is the most hated NFL player, even though he's been a model citizen, and that was a lot of that was culture because of the way he was brought up, sort of like gator fishing and stuff like that. I mean,
and
gator
chicken
killing,
fighting, which
chicken
Roy Jones
with Roy
readily
Jones,
admit that he used to do.
in Pensacola, Florida, fighting chickens. That's how they were raised. But you know what? It doesn't. You know, if you broke the law, whether you're ignorant or not, it doesn't matter. You broke the law. We understand that. He went, paid his dues. There was some dude, I believe it was on the Denver Broncos a couple of years ago, had it was drunk driving. Not the black guy. It was a white guy that resulted in killing somebody. He was like a drunk driver or something like that.
Was it Dallas? That was Dallas dude,
Dallas
right?
dude? I don't. No. Not the black guy that killed his own friend. This was like some years ago. It's like 6-7 years ago. It was a white dude, not the black guy, not the black dread guy from the Dolphins.
No, damn, who the fuck is this guy?
As I'm saying, it was a white guy, right? You really don't hear much about him. It was a white dude that, you know, he resulted in actual a vehicular homicide, you know, manslaughter or whatever. You know, he was messed up and killed somebody. You don't hear anything about that kind of stuff. Then you have Des Bryant doing what he's doing. Tom Brady last year screaming at his coach for whatever reason. You know, right? For whatever reason, you can read his lips. The fuck. What the fuck? You see him trying the fuck. And his coach, you know, authority on the team, is screaming at him for all the world to see. Well, he's just such a perfectionist, as Skip Bayless said today. He's such a perfectionist. You know, sometimes he just snaps because he wants everything to be right. Everything but he's classless. He's a cancer. He's all of these things that they label selfish. All of the things that they label the black buck athlete. Okay, this year he's seen once again. You can read his lips. You fuck, catch the fucking blah, 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 screaming at his new offensive core, his new wide receiver and stuff like that, because they're not as good as the guys that were injured and so on and so forth, because the assassin Hernandez and all the rest of those dudes are messed up. So, you know, he's seen on the sideline, fuck, showing up everybody. You know, he throws tantrums on the field all the time whenever he doesn't get his way. He's just such a fiery competitor, okay? Yet the only words they were able to read from Des Bryant were, I'm tired of this, meaning I'm tired of winning a game up until the last 30 seconds and then losing it. Okay, so what is it? You know, once again, you know, I remember they equated this to be like slavery, and people are like, well, how the hell can you be a slave when you make X amount of millions of dollars? Well, you know, I guess, you know, the payment of the real slaves was, you know, chitlins and hog maws, which was nothing compared to the food that was in the house. So yeah, if I get, you know, $1 million, that's more than the average person will ever see in their life. But if the people that own the company is making $1 billion, all right, or for my 1 million, and they still control my desk, they still control me, you know, as far as if I do anything, they can find me, throw me off, fire me, do anything, take my money away from me. It's almost like I don't have a right to even say anything because, hey, you know, I'm just some buck slave, you know. And that's the way that it's, to me, it's indicative of how far we are from the truth and reality about race relations. Why people don't seem to, they asked Ron Jaworski and those guys, right, about the Des Bryant situation, and they kind of like, you know, about it being a racial component too, and they kind of like skirted away from it and brought up something like, hey, you know, well, Tom Brady has some rings. So I didn't know, having a championship or having rings was a get out of jail pass for when you do something like berating your teammates, screaming at your coaches and stuff like that. And more importantly, like T.O. said, he said, well, the people that are condemning Des Bryant, most of them don't have rings. And he was like, these so-called experts, you don't have rings, so obviously rings isn't the end-all, be-all to attain a certain position to do whatever. So what is this whole rings thing? Either you did something that was not in keeping with the whole team mantra, or you did not. But when it's a black guy, it's, oh, you're so bad, you're so this. When it's a white guy, he's just fired. He just wants the team to win. And then when it came out that Des Bryant and the whole team was laughing, it was like, yo, when he first had the first outbreak, he was like, yo, we can do this. We can beat these guys. We're better than them. We're great. Yo, you see, we got the lead. Let's put it on them. Let's pour it on. Let's not slack up. Let's not slack up. But he's saying it all loud, waving his hands around. That's what you want from when you're dealing with a sport like this. The guy to keep it up, keep the pressure on him. So
which by the way, I've heard them. Let's say I've heard 5, 6 different instances, segments, people talk about this. Haven't heard that version yet.
Yeah, because the Cowboys, that's what they were saying. Who's the tight end?
Jason Witten.
Witten was like, yo, we was hugging and laughing about it on the bus.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. I heard the aftermath. I heard that they supported him. They were like, yo, we still love this dude. He's one of the leaders of the team. Still hadn't heard until 15 seconds ago what Des Bryant was actually saying.
The first outburst was, we got him on the ropes. Let's keep putting it on him. Yo, keep doing what you're doing. You keep doing what you're doing. Let's keep putting it on him. There's nothing wrong with that. Tear their ass out the frame. Get him. The second thing he was saying, which was rightly so, was, I'm tired of this. We can't keep losing like this. Someone, once again, showing leadership capabilities and qualities, you're supposed to step up and not let these guys always think that a moral victory is what you're supposed to be happy with when you're getting paid millions of dollars to have wins. So now he's screaming like, yo, I'm tired of this. We can't keep doing this. That's needed when you're dealing with motivational sports and things. Sports where you have to motivate men. When you have to motivate them to do what they're supposed to do.
Hold on a second. We're going to have to come back on part 2 of this, and then you're going to love where this leads to.
Oh, yeah, this is ridiculous.
Be back in a couple.